We meet again. Once again, we meet again. Alright, so after our nightmarish experience, let's wake up and try to have a normal day. It's so merciless. Alright, let's leave Dumpus. Okay, you rise early, dismiss the attentions of the householder, and head out into the street. Within a few minutes of walking, you're out of Dumpus and back on the road. After another hour or so, the way branches with one leading up into the hills, the other turning downhill and along the side of a barren stony ridge. Is that a village you can make out on top of the hill? It seems a lonely place for it. Who is foreboding, maybe? Well, I like to kind of hit up the villages because that's where we get all our resources, but we might want to save our coin because we're, let's see let's cheat and use our omnipresence. Yeah, it looks like there's a huge village here, so if we spend all of our coin here, we won't have enough for later. Looks like there's still yet another village ahead as well. Let's take a look, though. Let's at least take a look at it. The gentle upward slope becomes a steep climb. You're forced to rest several times. So far, you've been walking through the foothills. Now the journey will become more serious. When finally you reach the summit and can look out over the low plateau you have crested, you see a path that runs through a small settlement of crudely fashioned huts. So yeah, probably not a lot of resources there. So let's take a look. Ooh, ouch, everybody looks really depressed, and at least by the picture. And looks like guy's missing a leg. Looks like there are people crawling around. And they look like they're suffering. Hey, they found that bat that stung me in the first episode that bit me. Yeah. Well, they couldn't have because I tore it into tiny infinite pieces, but they found it, reassembled it, and then hung it. Which is super disturbing. So that alone makes me not want to go to the village. There are villagers out in the street talking and working. It seems like a happy, bustling place, despite the filth in the streets and the barren surroundings. Let's see. It seems a happy, bustling place. That picture sets me off, so let's wait for a little while longer. You stay at your vantage point and watch a while longer to see if things change. After a while, you notice something strange about the way the people in the village are moving. First, you notice one limping, then another, then you realize they're all shuffling as they move. Some use sticks, one is even crawling. Let's best avoid this place. You have seen enough. Whatever the village situation, it cannot be a happy one. Taking the low scrub, you walk a quarter circle around the village to the far ridge. Should we look back? No, it's going to be like some kind of scary thing where if we look back, we'll be caught in some kind of wizard's trance and then end up doing what they're doing. They could have us be doing the Macarena for eternity, or I don't know. So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's not look back. There's a lot of stories where you don't look back. It's always, you don't do it. All right, let's see. Don't look back to where you were. Look forward to what you could be, what you could become. Does that make me? Yeah, now I sound super smart, right? Like, this is an educational program here. It's an educational program going on. All right, so it's difficult to see the way ahead through the tree line, but you trust to the course, and eventually the path bursts onto a narrow stone ledge high above the valley floor. The ledge leads left and right. There's no way forward. Let's go ahead. Well, we have full stamina, so let's not rest a moment and eat. Let's go ahead and look left. Looking left, you can see a narrow ledge is formed by splitting of the rock that leads all the way down to the misty valley floor. If there's a path on the other side, it is not clear from here. Let's go ahead and look right. Looking right, you are taken aback, as out of the mist that fills the valley, an impossibly wide bridge looms into view, as though it had only now fallen into place. It is made of planks and thick ropes, and is suspended from this peak to peak on the other side. Who could have built such a marvel, and how long ago? Let's look at the bridge. You take a moment more staring at the bridge. It forms a delicate curve across the valley, swaying very slightly in the wandering wind. But the more you look at it, the more it seems far too perfect. Could such a bridge possibly exist, or is it a mere illusion to trick the incautious traveler? Let's go ahead and move on. Gain your feet once more. You take a moment to find your balance. So we're moving on. One slip here and you'll fall a long way down. Let's check out the bridge. That, it looks good, but it could be a trick. Who knows? The bridge is worth looking at least. If it is sound, you'll be able to tell. If not, the other route will still be waiting. As the ledge wins, English. Do I speak it? Do I speak English? And the answer is kind of. One word always means another word. I take it for granted. Okay, as the ledge winds, it could wind. The winds could blow, but it winds. It winds and weaves its way around the cliff. You reach a peak where the bridge is deeply anchored by an enormous stone foot. Beside this is a small, disheveled hut. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hut. A small little shack. It's barely large enough to house a goblin, but someone has decorated it in a weird fashion, with outlines of figures, tall and short, and stocky, drawn and faded faces and faded shades of the wood, and some in red blood-colored clouds. And from a few of these figures, actual bones protrude from the walls themselves, as if they formed part of the structure. You should have known immediately, of course. The bridge like this out here smells of sorcery and witchcraft. Uh-oh. Well, let's go ahead and not knock at the hut door. Let's go ahead and go across the bridge. We'll just hopefully nobody will know. Nobody will still hear us. We'll be fine. No matter. The hut is old and disheveled, probably empty. Setting your foot upon the bridge, you begin to make your way steadily across. Let's cross the bridge. You've gone only a few steps when you hear a voice calling out from behind you. Halt, stranger! You turn to see an ugly hunchback creature has sidled out of the hut door. Uh-oh. If you wish to pass, 2 answers you must give to Van Cass. Well, it's a dude, so I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's not a witch. Maybe he's a warlock. I don't know. We'll maybe. Yeah. We'll ignore. Should we ignore him? What do we? He might not be a witch, but we got the witchy vibes from the hut, and he might actually be a witch or a warlock, and so let's just play this game. I will give you your answers. What is your favorite color? What is your quest? What is their speed? I will give you your answers, you call back. The creature chuckles and asks his first question. A sister I have, which in captivity. She lives alone in the woods. So first tell to me, do you know of her friend, of this cunning dame, and how she is known? Tell me, what is her name? You have met no witch or sister, but perhaps you have seen the clues all the same. Well, there was that Alania that we avoided. I remember. So I'm going to say something starting with an A. Alina, Alania, Alexica. I'll say Alania. Alania, the hunchback smiles. Your answer is correct and true. Now you must answer question 2. Through the village, 3 you have now passed. What was first, what was second, and what was last? Ooh, this is going to be kind of tricky. I remember the first was Cantopani. It's kind of testing our memory function here. And then Cristani. It's like, no, wait. Cristani. And finally, Dumpus, I believe. The hunchback nods once, deeply, and you breathe a deep sigh of relief. He gestures you to proceed along the bridge, but calls out one last burst of advice. Beware the lair of the cave demon's maze. Stay to listen, move on. Well, let's stay to listen. You hover You hover to listen to the rest of the verse. For traps as deadly as Medusa's gaze. Greet travelers who, of luck bereft, take passageways not to the left. Thank him. You call him thank you, although it's probably kind of an evil person that would have rather had us thrown us off the bridge. So I don't know how much stock I put into what he told us. He might be trying to trick us, but it's something we'll have to think over. You call a thank you, and Van Cass nods much more, returning to his hut, quickly fearing any more traps. You hurry across the rope bridge. You're rather grateful when your foot touches the grass on the other side. You follow the path over the crest of the hill and down the next valley. It is now late afternoon. Alright, let's take a look here. Head for town. For the town. Some way down the hill, you stop for a rest and sit on a boulder to survey what lies ahead. The path leads downward, and at its foot, cradled between 3 peaks, is a village, and quite a large one at that. Behind you, the sun is rapidly falling into the hills. It will be night soon. Let's approach the village. The village looks like a good place to stop. You hop from one boulder and make your way forward when an overhanging branch touches your face and you hear a lively chirping. Freeze. It's probably just a bird, though. You freeze. Hovering by your shoulder is a small creature the size of a bird. It is childlike but very thin, with green skin. It flits around you on transparent wings. It seems friendly enough, and it lands on your shoulder, its clawed toes pinching slightly. Well, I don't know. It's probably a fairy, and I feel like fairies in folklore are known to play tricks, so I'm not really excited about the situation, but maybe it means well. Let's go ahead and give it let's talk to it. Greetings, little creature, and hello to you, the creature replies, chirping. My name is John. What are you? The creature does a backflip and gives a low bow. I'm a Minimite. Pleased to meet you. It reaches out a tiny hand and shakes your earlobe. I don't want anything to do with this thing here. I don't know. Fairy tricks, not in the mood. I'm not going anywhere until you've gone. Well, I'm not going anywhere until you've gone, you tell the creature gently. Well, I'm sure you'll change your mind eventually. Minimites get very attached to their owners, you see. I'm quite comfortable. Stay here or go on. Well, that's up to you. Let's swat it away. You try to swat the creature away, but it's too fast for you. I'll be quiet, Jan promises. You won't even remember I'm here. It doesn't seem likely, but equally you seem to have no choice. You descend to the bowl of the valley. The hills on either side are toweringly tall, and you throw the village into deep shadow. It would seem a very gloomy, threatening place, but from the streets come the distant sound of laughter and merriment. Let's go ahead and enter the town. We might be able to get some interesting items here. You continue along the path. The sound of festivities grow louder. It is almost spooky here in the shade of the valley. And after so long on the dire road, the people of this village seem to be enjoying themselves. Jan, what's going on? What's going on here? Are they bewitched? Jan shakes his head. No, if there was magic here, believe me, I'd know. This is the Festival of the Young. Festival of the Young. What's that? Well, take a look. Jan waves a little hand around the village. The idea is once a year the children are allowed the freedom of the village. It is a great time allowed the freedom of the village, or free reign. It is a time of great fun and lots of pranks. It becomes quickly and obvious what he means. You pass the first few buildings. You find a number of young children singing in the street, drinking ale from deep mugs. Further on, a young boy is holding an old woman over his knee and spanking her. On the other side of the street, a group of boys is fighting outside a hut with a sign that reads Glandragor's Tavern. Where's that name? That name sounds familiar. I think we have Glandragor's axe, I believe. Funny, you've definitely seen that name somewhere before. Correct. Should rescue the old woman and leave her. Now, normally, my policy, in a normal circumstance, we should rescue the old woman. However, if this is a festival, the entire town agrees to, and this is something the woman is submitting herself to, and I'm interfering with some strange tradition in a village that I've never been in. I don't want to offend the locals, so they'll go ahead and leave her. They're not hitting her. They're not, punching her. They're just giving her a spanking. So, you consider helping the woman. There's nothing you can do. This is their festival after all. Alright, let's take a look at Glandor's Tavern. Behind the bar, a thick-set man is wiping mugs down with the old rag. Greetings, stranger, he calls. I am Glandragor. Can I be helping you? Greetings. Greetings. I've come a long way. I'm sure you have. Take a seat. You do so, and Jan leaps up and on to the counter. Oh, gosh. No, don't create mischief for me. Glandragor seems amused rather than alarmed by the creature. Okay, good. Well, hopefully that'll give us some leverage. I have something for you. I have something for you. You tell him. Oh, yes? He looks at you expectantly. Let's give him the axe. And he chops off her head. No, hopefully he'll be grateful. You take the axe from your pack and lay it on the bar. The old man's eyes light up as he sees it. Where did you get that? He exclaims. I bought it from a merchant. You answer, but it is yours, isn't it? He reaches forward, almost nervously. He is clearly overjoyed. I haven't seen this thing in at least 20 years. Time I spent every day with it. He mimes a gentle chopping motion with the blade, perfectly pitched at neck height on a goblin. Incredible, I remember the weight. How did you lose it? How did you lose it? I was part of a raiding party. There were 4 of us exploring the giant ruins at Lee Kai. So that might have been that ruins that we saw earlier. We descended into a cave system and the roof collapsed. That could have happened to us. I was knocked unconscious. They left me. What a bunch of friends there. Couldn't get me out, I suppose, except for that someone reached me enough to steal my famous axe. Did you ever find out who? No, he shakes his head sadly. No, I went on a healthy quest for revenge. I never got it. Got something else instead that made me hang up my traveling boots. And if you don't know what that is yet, well, you will. Now, here, I'm forgetting my hospitality. Without putting down his axe, he quickly gathers a mug, fills it with ales. For you on the house. You thank him, we got a free drink out of it, it's something. We thanked him with a drain of the mug deep. The beer is thick and refreshing. Then it hits you. It's his turn to question you. So how long are you staying here? Only for tonight. I see. Well, he nods. Let me give you some advice. There's a site nearby, a place called Crystal Waterfall. Whatever trek you're on, and whatever you feel about sights, you should go. It's more than something just to look at. Here, he grabs a bit of paper and scribbles down a note. Hand this to the idiot who collects the toll, and he'll let you pass. What is so special about this waterfall? I won't tell you, Glandragor answers. That way you'll just have to go and find out. You nod. And once you leave, where's next? To Kier. Kiar. To Kier. Kiar, there's a town. Listen, let me give you some more advice. Go right ahead. You're full of advice. Go right ahead. No, it's very nice. I have some powerful friends, you see, he says. His tone might be slightly threatening. There's a man I know, and he's quite an important man too. His name is Vic. If you get in trouble, just remember that. Even a name can be a thing of power sometimes. Same as how you found me. This is bound to be some useful information later. I'll remember it. Be sure you do. I don't doubt you'll need it. He takes to wiping down the bar again. So you'll be heading through Torpani. There's a Savin village. No humans there at all. The chief will probably persuade you to help his daughter. She's been carried off by marauders. Of course our help. We're heroes after all. Good, glad to hear it. Poor girl, she has been left as a sacrifice in a dark cave guarded by a deadly manticore. If you've not met one before, well, watch your back and your front. And either side. And up and down. And if you know a spell or two, then all to the good. The beer is done. You stand to go. Nod to Glandragor and head out to the street. Jan flits quickly along behind. Frickin' Jan. Alright. So, let's not leave town. Let's not find the end. Let's check out this waterfall. You know, he might suspect that we stole the axe and just have some of his friends there waiting to kill us and take our stuff. But, you know, I'm going to assume he means well. You head up a path that climbs through a crack in the mountainside. Soon the air is filled by thundering. It is quite a climb. But eventually you turn a corner through the narrow cleft in the rock and catch your first glimpse of a tall natural waterfall plunging down from the cliffs overhead. Large crystal stalactites hang down either side of the rock. There's only one path to reach it, winding up the rock face. It passes by a small hut where a ruffian is collecting money. Let's go ahead and greet the ruffian. You make your way over to the hut. Greetings, you begin. Yeah, I'm not letting Jan. I saw the option to let Jan scout ahead and not happening. It's probably more likely called mischief than that. You make your way over to the hut. Greetings, you begin. You collect a fee for the waters. I do, sneezes the ruffian. These waters cannot be so healing as he has. These waters cannot be so healing as he has not caught an awful flu from them. These waters cannot be so healing that he has not caught an awful flu from them. 3 gold pieces. So, are we getting tricked here? Let's go ahead and show him Glandragor's note. You hand the scrawled note over to the ruffian. He probably can't read, but he seems to recognize the penmanship. He nods fiercely twice and stands aside to let you pass. He hands us a towel. Alright, let's get in these healing waters. Which you head up the waterfall as cascades force into a deep pool. You strip off your clothes and dive deep into the pool while Jan flitters through the froth. The cool water is fresh and invigorating, and you feel yourself getting rapidly better. You feel a huge swell of confidence. Coming here was the best decision you have made. Now you can move on refreshed and ready for the night. Alright, let's go ahead and get some sleep. Sleep by the waterfall. The idea of going back to the village is now unappealing. You're refreshed and calm, and the scenery here is beautiful. Getting out of the pool, you draft, collect your things, and head down into the trees to find a spot to rest. Between the curling roots, you find a place to settle down and rest. Jan perches a little way above the knot, and he is quickly asleep. You are tired enough to follow suit, but you are hungry from not having eaten. Let's go ahead and... well, our stamina's full. Let's go ahead and settle down for the night. You rest your head in your backpack and close your eyes. A few hours pass when you are suddenly aware of a shadow moving between the tree trunks. It turns as it sniffs the air. A wolfhound! And at that, we found our other spot to rest, or maybe not so much rest as getting to battle, and we'll resume this fight later. So thank you very much for joining me. If you like my videos, I would greatly be encouraged with some likes and comments. If there's any games you'd like me to play, or anything you'd like me to do in this game, or any questions, please just give me a comment, and I'm more than likely to answer them. And I appreciate you choosing to watch my stream, and I look forward to seeing you next time. All right.